Hi guys, welcome once again to my YouTube channel. On today's tutorial, we will be making this A-line dress. If this sounds like something you're interested in, please stay tuned. Enjoy. I'm using 3 yards of fabric and I folded it by 20. This is going to be the width of my front flare. So 20. And if the front is 20, the back is definitely going to be 20. That's like the circumference of my flare is 40. Next up, I'll be marking my shoulder plus ½ inch. My chest line. I'm really sorry you can't see clearly. I think it's the color of the chalk I'm using. I tried using pencil, but it wasn't still showing. But if you could look carefully at what I'm doing, I think you'll still get the general idea. I'm just making sure my shoulder is visible, and I'm taking same measurement down to my chest line. I'm just connecting to make sure it's still visible. Now this my chest line is where I'll take down my bust measurement. You can see the struggle to make it. I think it's showing a bit now. Next, I'll be taking my under bust measurement of 15. That's where I want my A-line to start from. That's where I want my flow to start from. You can either start from under your bust or your waistline. It all depends on what you want. So that's what I'm marking out. I'm marking out my bust measurement of 10.5 plus 1 inch seam allowance. That's 11.5. I will also mark out my under bust measurement plus 1 inch is the general seam allowance I'm adding. Now I'm connecting the line from my bust to my under bust, and from here this dress is just easy because it's an A-line. From this under bust point till the hem is just gonna be sort of like an A shape. So the length of this gown is 60. I'm using the whole length. I don't have a ruler. I would have used the ruler, but I'm using my tape, and just watch exactly how I drew the line. Now I will cut it. I'm cutting this because the fabric is too big and I just need to like cut off this place, shift it, and continue with my pattern, which I have done. Now we are going to mark out our neckline of 3 inch width and 3 inch depth. I'll connect with my curve. I would also slope my shoulder by 1 inch. Connect with a ruler. Next up, my shoulder, my armhole, I'm going to take it in by ½ inch, the midpoint, just to give me my curve and take away any excesses at the armhole. Now I'm connecting with my curve, and that is basically it. Now I'm just going to add my ½ inch. I'm drafting directly on the fabric. I need ½ inch for my shoulder joining, and that's what I'm adding. Next, I'm cutting it out. That's basically it for the front. I'm really sorry you can't see it as clearly as I would love you to, but I hope it's a bit clear. Now that we have this pattern, we're going to take it and place it on another piece of folded fabric. I will folded it about 22 inches because I needed 1 inch for the seam for the zipper allowance, and I just needed a bit extra so I wouldn't be short of fabric. So that was what I did. I'm just setting it up. Next, I'm cutting it. So that's basically all for the front and back. There is no major difference apart from the zip and the neck. Now I'm going to mark out my neck. I'm taking it up by about 1.5, and I'm connecting with a curve. Now I'm cutting it out. Now for my armhole, I don't want it to be as deep as the front, so I'm just extending it out by 1/2 inch. That's what you see me cutting out. That's basically all for the front and back. I'm going to open my zipper allowance, and that'll be it. Now I'm taking the measurement of my armhole that I just got, which is 11.5. I'll be using this to draft out my sleeve. So I'm folding my sleeve by 10. Now I'm going down by 5 inches. That's my bicep line. That's my bicep point. I'm going to connect with a curve. Generally, the math for connecting with a curve is divide your width by 2 and divide the height of your bicep by 2. So that's what I did, and I connected with a curve. I'm definitely going to get my 11.5 back because our sleeve is always curved. I'll be checking my curve to make sure it's correct. Now I'll be cutting it out. Next, I'll cross-check the length of my sleeve. I'm also cross-checking the bicep, the round bicep, and now my wrist. My wrist is actually 4.5 plus about 1/2 inch 5, but I made everything 7 because I needed that extra for my gathers. Now I'm just connecting it with a straight line, and I'm going to cut it out. I will just notch the midpoint of my sleeves for ease. Now I'm going to cut out my belt, and I'm using 2.5 inch on fold. So it will be a total of 5 when opened up. That's what I'm just cutting out. I'm going to cut out 2 of these. Next up, I'll be cutting some bias strip for my piping, my neck piping. So that's what I'm doing. I think I had about 2 of this. And I was fortunate enough, my fabric is stretchy, so I didn't have to cut it on bias. Now that I have my bias strip and my belt, we're good to go. Now I'll be joining my front piece and my back piece together through the shoulders. You place them right side facing each other and you stitch the shoulder. Having done that, you'll find out that you have a neckline that is connected. Your back and front neckline is connected. So I'll just go ahead to pipe my front and back neckline as one. I'll be starting from the back and I would pipe to the end, from one end to another end. This is where I'll be piping it. I will stitch it. The front side of my piping would face the wrong side of my material. Then I'll flip it over. I'm done with that, and this is how it's looking. Now I'm going to join my sides from my armhole straight through to the hem. I'm going to join it by 1 inch, which I previously left for my seam allowance. That's what I'm going to do for the both sides. I've done that now, and this is how it's looking. Next up would be to add the zip. And to do this, you need to close your seam allowance for the zip. I've gone ahead to add my zip, and this is what it's looking like. The next would be to add the sleeves, and that's what we're going to do right now. In order to close up my sleeves, you would have to check your armhole measurement, the inches you have left in your armhole, and that is what you would use in closing your sleeves. Like if I'm having 12 and my armhole is 11.5, I will just use half to close it up. That's what I did here. I would be working on my sleeve. My sleeve sort of had an elastic at the wrist, so I'll be making that fold. I'll be folding it by 1/2 inch twice. That's going to give me 1 inch, and this is what it's looking like. I sort of made a passage for my elastic. Now I'm measuring my elastic by 7. Since my client's wrist is about 9 and elastic is always elastic, it stretches. So I don't want to have exact 9, I want something close. Now I will go ahead and put my elastic and close my seam. Just done that, and this is how it's looking. Next up would be to attach my sleeves to my dress. I've gone ahead off camera to do one sleeve, and I'll be showing you how I did the second sleeve. So you have to turn it to the front towards the right side if you're joining it from the right side, which is always advisable. Now your sleeve has a seam and your dress has a seam. Make sure you're joining them seam to seam. You're joining your sleeve seam to your dress armhole seam, if that makes sense. Just watch what I'm doing and make sure the lines are aligned. You don't want your armhole or your sleeve to be in another line and your dress is in another line. You want them to align. So you have to make sure that they are both lining together by joining the seam of your sleeve and to the seam of your dress. You can do this by using a pin to pin it down. Now, remember I notched my sleeve, I notched the midpoint of my sleeve. You would also take this midpoint of your sleeve to your shoulder. See how it works? Your seam of your sleeve to your seam of your dress, and the midpoint of your sleeve to your shoulder line. This must match, and then you sew it together. I have done that, and I went ahead to open my seams and give it a good press just to have it balanced. I went ahead to iron my side seam, my zipper seam. Every seam in this dress was ironed, believe me. I went ahead to weave the hem of the dress, and that was it. That'll be all for this dress, and this is the way it's looking. If you've watched to this point in this video, I want to say thank you for staying tuned, for watching, and if you have not subscribed, why now? Please do subscribe, like, comment, and share this video if it was helpful. Bye. See you in my next video. Bye.